Do you ever wonder who the greatest country singer of all time is? Personally, I think it has to be the one and only Johnny Cash. I learned a lot about Cash through years of listening to him with my grandparents and my father. I'm sure you've all at least heard his name. If you haven't, today I'm going to tell you all that I've learned about him. I want to tell you about his childhood, his early life in music, his fallout, redemption, his success, and now seems like a good time to get started. Johnny Cash was born February 26, 1932, in Kingston, Arkansas. At the age of 3, his family moved to Dyess, Arkansas. He was part of a very religious family. He was one of the 7 Cash children. His parents were Ray Cash and Carrie Cash, and his brother died of an electric saw accident, and he had to bury his brother. Once Johnny grew up, he decided to join the military. In 1950, Johnny Cash joined the Air Force. He was stationed in Landsberg, Germany. That's where he started his first musical group, the Landsberg Barbarians. After the Air Force, Johnny married his first wife, Vivian, and they moved to Memphis, where he worked as an appliance salesman and became an ordained minister. But then his career took off. In 1954, Johnny Cash and the Tennessee Two was formed. Later that year, the 3 of them went to Sun Records to get an interview with the owner. The owner liked their music, but he wanted them to come back with an original. So they brought the original Hey Porter, written by Johnny Cash. In 1955, Johnny Cash and the Tennessee Two released Hey Porter and Cry Cry Cry. In 1957, Cash released his debut album, Johnny Cash with his hot and blue guitar, but things went downhill from there. In 1966, Vivian divorced Johnny due to his severe drug abuse. After major drug binges, nearly burning down a forest, smuggling drugs across the border, and being found almost dead in Georgia. In 1968, Johnny found redemption when he married June Carter and released his album, Johnny Cash at Folsom Prison. After his album, his career was back on track. He won 2 Grammys for the album, and in 1969, hosted the Johnny Cash Show. In 1970, he starred in the movie Gunfight with Kirk Douglas. And now let's talk about his later years. Johnny Cash died at the age of 70, September 12, 2003, in Nashville, Tennessee, due to diabetes complications. He was one of the most influential singer-songwriters of the 20th century. During his long career, he released 91 albums, 170 singles, had 13 songs reach number 1 on the Billboard charts, released 13 Grammys, worked with 3 different recording studios, worked with some of the most notable artists in the world, sold over 90 million records, was honored with a flower picking festival in Starkville, had a major motion picture created by him called Walk the Line, was the youngest man to ever be inducted into the Country Music Hall of Fame. So now that you know his story, I feel like I've given you a good look into the life of Johnny Cash. We've talked about his life, music, his fallout, redemption, and all his success. I hope I've been able to serve a purpose telling you the life of Johnny Cash. Maybe now you can tell all your family and friends about him.